All right, we are back in session. I do apologize.
Man, we were having a good talk about like circuits and physics.
Physics and
Yeah, I know.
our limitations and everything like that.
How we're definitely not smart enough to be physicists.
Yeah. Hello, Paul. How are you?
I think I'm, and this might sound really conceited, I think I might be smart enough. I just don't have the patience to spend 6 hours every night doing fucking problem sets. I just don't want to do it. Just teach me what I need to know. Let's work through some problems and call it good. I don't want to be sitting here. I don't have that kind of patience.
If my experience in differential equations is any guide, I am not smart enough.
Yep.
Man, everybody's drinking. I think Paul's got, it's not coffee, it's probably tea.
Hello, Paul.
Junk shop, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah,
Hello.
I've got my thing about tea. I'm always whinging at the Americans for drinking the coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love everything about coffee except for the part where I have to drink it.
Yeah, I actually bought myself an early holiday gift. I bought myself a Korean, and I bought it today and started. I was drinking some Dunkin' Donuts coffee earlier today.
My wife has a French press. That's how she gets all her coffee. But
Oh, nice.
I get my caffeine through Monster, which is way worse for you. But
Yeah, I love coffee and I love tea.
And I don't have any coffee in my house at all. I just don't drink it. I used to drink it years ago when I was a kid. Before I went to bed, my mother, when I was, I'd have been about 7 or 8, my mother used to make a milky coffee, and we used to have that as a hot drink before we went to bed. So I don't dislike coffee. It's just, I haven't drunk it for like 30, 40 years. I just never, ever touched coffee, and I just don't have the taste for it anymore. Just tea.
Yeah.
blows my mind, because if I gave my kids coffee before I tried to put them to bed, like I don't even want to imagine what that would be like.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it now. I can't understand why she did it. She used to do it every night.
Like, do you hate yourself? Like, what are you doing?
Can I ask you a couple questions, Paul? Number one is your last name Camish or Camish?
Camish.
Okay, Camish. And where do you work? Do you work at a railroad?
No, I work on the highways. I'm just about 10 minutes. I'm finishing work. It's 5:20. I finish work at 5:30.
Okay.
So yeah, I work on the highways. Basically, I'm the annoying person who's dropping cones out on the roads while we put roadworks on.
I see. Oh yeah, it's right. Why am I thinking you work night? It probably is still dark there, but it's in the morning.
Yeah, I don't work nights. Well, I work days and nights. This week I'm on nights, so it's like I say, it's 5:20 in the morning here, and I'm about to finish and go home.
Oh, right on.
And then next week I'm on days, so I'll be working all days next week.
Yeah. So, Paul, I don't think we've met before. Tell me a little bit about yourself, because I don't think you've been on my channel yet.
No, I haven't. I've watched you a few times, and I've watched a few of the debates that you've done. And then when this came on, I was I was just having a cup of tea before I went home, and it came up. David P. Neff going live for the second time. You must have tried earlier on.
So there was a
troll. Said jump in, so I thought, I'll jump in just for a laugh.
Yeah. There was a troll who
he porn bombed.
Yeah, porn bombed, and then I was like, yeah, no, fuck you, you're banned, and I deleted the stream because I had a feeling he was going to try and use that to get me banned from YouTube.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah. No. So yeah, I live in the UK. I'm 54-year-old. Do you want my full life story?
When I was a small child.
Yeah, I worked on the highways. I was born in 1966 on the 29th. Yeah, so yeah, I live in the UK. I'm an atheist. I always have been, and I've never been religious, so I've never gone out of religion into atheism. Living in the UK, it's quite. I feel quite privileged living in the UK, because what I see, what goes on in America with the religious side of it, it seemed to me, from the outside looking in, so to speak, it seems absolutely bonkers how people can be not just religious, but fundamental religion.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen in the UK. The UK at the moment is classed as something like 48% religious, 52% nons. So
Might be moving to the UK, guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
that would get me closer to my future wife, at least.
Sounds pretty nice.
and when it says nones, obviously that's just people who put down no specific religion. So what the amount that would actually put atheist, I don't know. The 48% that are religious, they're not religious at all. They really aren't religious at all. They will put themselves down on, you know, if they were doing like a survey or something, and it said a religious affiliation, they'd probably put Christian. But then you ask them anything about religion at all, and they don't. I'm deadly serious. They do not have a clue about what's written in the Bible, anything at all about it, and it means absolutely nothing to them. They're basically just conforming to what they think is the norm, which is basically what I was guilty of when I joined the army, or well, before that, going through school, everything. I wasn't religious. The only person that was really anything to do with religion was my grandmother, my mother and father. They would have classed themselves as Christian, but when he spoke to them, they'd sort of like be. My dad used to call himself agnostic. He went, well, who knows really? He knew nothing about the Bible, wasn't interested in it. It never came up in conversations, Christmases and stuff like that. The religious side of it, totally forget about it. It just wasn't there. So it's only sort of like with the YouTube coming on and me watching like YouTube stuff and watching what's going on in America and listening to you lads chatting, that I'm like, what the hell? Because 30 years ago, seriously, more than 30 years ago, I thought that with my generation, as I was growing up, we would be the last. There would be nobody at all that had anything to do with religion. It would have died out. Because even back then, in the, you know, I was born in 66, so call it early 70s, mid 70s. Mid 70s, nobody was religious then either. Or if there were, it was, you know, very weak religious. Yeah. So yeah, I find it absolutely amazing when I'm watching stuff that's coming over from America, and obviously the fun stuff with like your Copeland and all that. And you know when they're doing all the talking in tongues and the silly dancing things that they do when they're jumping about the stage, absolutely just blows our mind over here when watching that. I love seeing them, and I show all that. I've been seeing this video and I'm showing somebody at work or whatever, and we're all just stood there with our mouth open. We've seen nothing like it.
Yeah, by the way, speaking of Kenneth Copeland, can I share a quick video real quick?
Oh yeah.
Please let it be the bald one.
Oh, I've seen this one.
I think I have too. This one's pretty. Yeah, this one's pretty fun.
The media said what? The media said Joe Biden's president.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that just absolutely blows our mind. And when he was doing that thing, when he was blowing the wind of God or whatever it was, that was just absolutely fucking mad.
Oh yeah.
But it just amazes me how they can get away with it. How people are I hate to say it, but they're so gullible.
This is also good.
We lose nothing. We command that it be exposed right now in the name of Jesus. Strike and strike. Angels have even dispatched from Africa right now. Africa right now. Africa right now. From Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. The for I hear the sound of victory. 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 Jesus. Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike
It's
I hear a sound of
It
victory.
fits so well.
I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord, 'cause it is done. The Lord, 'cause it is done. The Lord, 'cause it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corners of heaven. In the corners of heaven, victory, 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 victory. For angels are being released right now. Angels are being dispatched right now. Amanda, anda, anda, rata, eda, bata, santa, anda, anda, ora, kata, rike, eda, bata, anda, rike, edi, anda, da. For angels are even
is that dude walking around in the background? Is that part of the video?
That's
I
what
don't-
I'm
right now, from Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus.
I think it is.
America. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa, from South America. Angelic reinforcement. Angelic reinforcement.
I see a dinosaur. He's looking rather dapper.
Hey, what is up, everybody?
Hey,
I just got to
I
say
know.
really, really quickly. What you just played, I mean, yeah, she's batshit crazy, but that shit slapped. I mean,
Oh,
that,
I
That
know.
was great. Yeah, that was great. Look, I can't stay too long, guys, because it's late here, and I'll be honest, I wasn't planning on going live anywhere, but I wanted to stop in and say hi, and I saw that you were watching an amazing video.
Oh
So,
yes, yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I'm
I've seen that one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, Dapper Dino, it's a pleasure to have you here. So
It's a pleasure to be
Leo,
here.
so yeah, Leo Jordan and myself had a really lovely conversation with Sal Cordova on Radiometric
good.
Dating. It's going to be mirrored to my channel. We had a really wonderful conversation. Strongly recommend that you go take a listen to that.
I will put that on my list of things to watch, and I'll probably end up watching it tomorrow while I'm working on some stuff.
Yeah.
And speaking of tomorrow, hey, Phase 3, the Phase 3 announcement for my Speculative Evolution project is out tomorrow.
Oh, nice! I can't wait.
Yeah, so if you guys have ideas on how to, carry forward evolution on a fictional alien world, send it to me. And also, you guys know about DFOTY, right?
No, I do
I
not.
do, yes.
You do?
I know that half of, wasn't it half of Unirock's Discord server got nominated or something?
Something like that. Yeah, Unirock got nominated, Menace did, but I also nominated Raw Matt.
I didn't see that.
So what I am asking is everyone who watches this, go check out the video that has the links to the voting videos and go to Raw Matt and hit like or dislike because they both count as a vote. And on Saturday, I am releasing a fun supercut of all the stupidest things I could find Raw Matt saying.
Oh God.
Oh,
By
that's
the way-
going to be a classic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Dapper Dino, Raw Matt finally responded to my video, and
I
yeah.
assume it was moronic.
Oh yeah. Hold on. You're gonna love this, Dapper. This is gonna be. I'm working on a follow up video, on this. So let me go back as my video. Listening to the SFT Brain Trust, Raw Matt can kill you.
Wait,
So-
did he say something like I could break you in half or something? Because he said that about was it Dr. Dan Stern Cardinale? He was like, I could break that guy in half on a bad day. I was like, okay.
He was an amateur MMA fighter, wasn't he? A
Cool
cage
story,
fighter?
bro.
Yeah, he was. Actually, I don't know if he was amateur. Like, I don't know if he got paid for it or whatever. Like, I don't really care. Like, nothing against MMA fighters, and also I don't. I just don't care. Oh, here we go.
I do have to
Yeah.
ask everybody really quickly though. Did you guys hear that fucking Paul? I mean, I think it's Logan Paul is going to be fighting fucking Mayweather.
Wait. Like Logan Paul?
Yeah, the one that just fought. Because that was Jake Paul that just fought. His, I think, older or younger brother. I think it's older brother. Logan Paul is going to be literally fighting Floyd Mayweather, the guy that knocked out Conor McGregor, which Conor McGregor would have whooped his ass every which way from Sunday in an actual MMA fight, but it was boxing. So
Yeah. By the way, so here it is. So here's his non-response.
Just a second, just before you start, I'm just going to jump off because I'm just about to set off driving home. So
All right.
I'll be watching, but I'll just jump out.
All right.
See you all later.
Sounds
Nice
good.
talking to you, man.
Yeah,
Have a great
cheers.
night.
All right. So here's his response. 10 dislikes and no comment from the Brain Trust. I wonder why. So why would he? It's a waste of time. Number one, PLOS Biology didn't even care that I put their logo on my paper when submitting it. The only people who think it matters are internet atheists. It doesn't. That's why nothing can or ever will happen regarding it.
Well, no, the reason nothing's ever going to happen regarding it is because, like,
Plus doesn't care who he is. They don't even know who he is.
some rando using a PLOS logo, like, they're not going to care. Even if they were to care, what are they going to do? Sue him for, like, the $50 he's worth?
Right.
Like, so what? Like, it's the reason that people care is because when you put the header of a publication on a thing that you put out on the internet, it strongly implies, in fact, I would just say outright states that you were published in that publication. Like,
Yeah,
if I said, hey, I have the most, I don't know, D20s in the world, and then I put Ripley's Believe It or Not at the top, people are going to believe that that's in Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah, I can't think of another reason why you would use the logo. Like,
No, well, his excuse when it was put to him was like, "Oh, I did it, because I was trying to help them out," as if they couldn't put their own watermark on your.
you're trying to help
paper.
PLOS out? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think PLOS needs your help, bro.
Yeah, he was taking those
Yeah.
like those 3 clicks away from whoever their graphics guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
thanks,
anyway,
buddy.
yeah, only in the minds of the internet atheists is this a problem. No, people who care about academic integrity think it's a problem.
Right.
And apparently, Standing for Truth and Raw Matt simply don't care about the truth. And I'm sorry to bring Standing for Truth in because I do like him, but he obviously, if any, I know for sure, for a fact, that if I did that, you, Erica, Dr. Dan would be calling me out on it and
Oh,
telling
in a heartbeat.
yeah,
Well, I'd probably send you a private message like you need to check yourself, bro. But like,
yeah.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, but yeah. Number two, you found one place where I wrote this book where the Amish were known for having caused autism and all that, blah 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 blah. So anyway, I kind of pressed him on apologizing to Dr. Dan for his lie, and here's what he said: "I've already apologized to Dan a long time ago and removed that video, which I actually regretted after he didn't accept my apology." And Ian Shen just turned to condescending over it again.
I don't remember an apology being issued. And look, I talk to Dr. Dan most days. Like, most days, he and I have some kind of communication. It's usually just some quick thing like, "Oh, hey, have you read this paper, or have you guys heard about this thing or whatever?" But like, I'll ask him because like like I said, we're in fairly frequent contact, and I can ask him if there was ever an apology that he's aware of from Raw Matt,
Actually,
but I'm not aware of one.
Actually, I emailed Dr. Dan. I email him quite a bit. Also, so I'm pretty good. I consider him a pretty good friend. I actually emailed him and asked about this, and he said that Raw Matt's made a non-apology on his video creation tricks just lie, and Raw Matt subsequently deleted that non-apology. So yeah, I actually since I'm gonna make a follow-up video for that,
Did anyone grab it before it went away?
no, I wish Dr. Dan did. I don't have any evidence of it, but Dr. Dan said that he made a non-apology. So at least because I at least wanted to corner Raw Matt and force him on his stream and have him publicly apologize because he made the video in public. He should apologize in public. That's how I feel, at least. What Raw Matt did was despicable and downright repulsive. And like seriously, Standing for Truth has zero credibility every time he has Raw Matt on his stream. Raw Matt is one of the people who should not be platformed.
Look, and Sitting knows this. I told this to him in an email. My conditions for further direct engagement with Standing for Truth are twofold. One of which he has met, and I'm going to give him credit for that in just a second. And the first one was that he needs to do something about the fact that Jason Ezard, or Faithful, Honest, and True, is going around making death threats. And
That's who Faithful, Honest, and True is. Yeah, Jason Ezard is.
Yeah.
Isn't he that Australian guy that like should have?
he's
like,
Tasmanian. I don't know. It's the same country,
something
but
like
it's
that
different landmass.
Deserves to have his teeth punched out by
Yeah.
someone.
So
Yeah.
he's been sending death threats. He made one to me on YouTube. He sent one to Praise I Am That I Am. I think he even might have sent one to Standing for Truth. And apparently at least one other person. I was in a group email from Praise I Am That I Am talking about the fact that apparently Praise is going to be sending along some information to whatever Tasmanian police. I don't know how it works in Australia. I know Tasmania is one of their states, so I imagine they have a state police force that can forward it. If it's in their jurisdiction, then good, and if it's not, I imagine they can forward it to whatever municipal level law enforcement. But anyway, so now Standing apparently has in fact essentially kicked Faithful, Honest, and True out of Team Standing, which, you know what, credit where credit is due. Good job. That is, you should have done it before, like I told you to. And in fact, he did even say that he wished he had taken my advice on that earlier. So you know what, Standing, good job. But the other thing you have to do is you have to address the blatant and obvious intellectual and academic dishonesty from Raw Matt, because editing that video to pretend that Dan hadn't read a book that he had read, stealth editing videos and deleting critical comments, and then just completely ignoring the fact that you've done that. That's been documented.
Jesus Christ. Putting
fake watermarks on your papers that you're quote unquote self-publishing or whatever. I guess it is publishing, whatever. Yeah, this is behavior that would get you expelled from any school, which is one of the reasons why I don't think that his quote unquote doctorate in divinity is from a school that's even qualified to give such a degree.
A doctorate in divinity.
I mean, that's a real degree. People get those.
Yeah. It just brought up because I know that they're real. I was trying to think, what schools do I know of, like, credible, that can those out? Shit.
Liberty University.
Oh, that is one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they might, but there are plenty of accredited schools that have divinity programs.
Yeah, I know.
I think Harvard has a divinity program.
I think that might have been who I was thinking of, but I was skeptical to say it because I'm like, Harvard, do they?
Well, I'm pretty sure. Look, I'm gonna Google Harvard Divinity School right now.
I was literally just about.
Pretty sure there is one.
Princeton has a theological seminary.
Yeah, Harvard Divinity School in Cambridge. Yeah, that's a thing. You can get a Harvard Divinity degree. And look, I'm not here to crap on divinity degrees. That's not my thing. However, when I first heard Matt Powell calling Raw Matt Dr. Raw Matt, which, by the way, his name is public. It's on some of his books. You can look it up.
What is his name?
It starts with his last name starts with an N. I don't remember what it is because it doesn't matter to me. But he's got a book about like diet and aging or something, and it says Matthew Raw Matt last name, and I just assume that's his real last name. I don't know why he would put two pen names on, but when Matt Powell started calling him Dr. Raw Matt, I started looking into it. Like, is there any place where he said where he got his divinity degree? No. As far as I can tell, nowhere has he ever said where he got it. And the thing is, if he had got it at an accredited institution, it would be public because all PhDs, like all PhD recipients, and their theses, I don't know, whatever.
Theses would be plural, yeah.
Are public. That's standard academic practice. Their names and theses are publicly available for anyone. It's one of the reasons why we know Kent Hovind didn't get a real PhD.
Specifically for this kind of situation.
Right. So you can't just say, "Oh, I have a doctorate degree." That's why I had my co-host Bent Hovind email me a diploma that he made saying that I have a doctor's degree in paleontology from Bent Hovind University. Because now I have just as much reason to call myself doctor as Raw Matt or Ken Hovind. And they can be like, "Oh, well, I did coursework." Like, well, great, you did it with an institution that isn't authorized to give such a degree.
If it's not accredited, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
right, exactly. And the thing with Mr. Hovind is that when you start a dissertation with "Hello, my name is Kent Hovind," you know you've lost. I mean,
goodness.
Hello, my name is. It's like, yeah, because I didn't see that on the fucking title page.
And have you read any of that thing? It is completely insane.
It's bad. It is
really
it
breaks into poetry here and there, and it talks about like how he gets angry when someone insults God because God is part of his family, and that's like insulting his mother or something. And I'm just like, what even is this? It doesn't have like it's called a thesis, right? What's your thesis statement? Nothing.
That's
when I rambly Oh my goodness.
When I first looked at it, there was the two things that I looked for first. Number one, figures. Didn't find any. Number two, any math. Didn't find any.
No.
I was just like, yeah, see, that's a problem.
But you would.
and
What
like
was
with,
this thesis
look-
supposed to be on?
by the way,
That's the thing. There's no thesis statement. It's not on anything. It's just a rambling stream of consciousness about creationism.
yeah, and when you
He got it
Google
from a
Dr. Dan, like with Dr.
Yeah.
Dan, you can Google his name, and I found Dr. Dan's thesis in 3.
I assume you said 3 seconds, but you cut out there.
Yeah, I said I found Dr. Dan's thesis in 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like real people with real. Well, I guess Ramat's a real person. I'm not gonna. Okay, fine, Ramat. I acknowledge that you're your personhood.
It's
But people with real doctorate degrees, you can find their thesis. You can prove they have a doctorate degree.
It's
Yeah,
taking
and
me
then-
longer to find it than 3 seconds because all I'm getting is like his profiles from the university that he works.
Yeah, because this
Maybe I should type in PhD.
Oh, hey, there's Dr. Dan's thesis.
yep, and this is what a real thesis looks like. Notice he never says "Hello, my name is Dan" anywhere in this. This is what a real dissertation looks like.
What do you know?
2015, Dan Stern Cardinal. All rights reserved. Impact.
Oh, wait, can we scroll to the body because I just want to see if it's center aligned or left aligned. Oh, it's left aligned, like you would think. Ramat, who center aligned his paper that he submitted to PLOS Biology.
You might justify align it, but you definitely wouldn't like center align it. Is that
No,
what
the
you mean?
whole
Like
center aligned, yeah. Every
Yeah.
single line is centered, and it's like
LaTeX
eye
wouldn't do
murder.
that.
And it's like, look, center align is fine for some things, right? But not for your paper you're submitting. And the thing is, people are like, oh, you know, we don't know why it was rejected. That's like, I know why it was rejected. It didn't follow the style guideline.
Wow, guys, check this out. Page 18 of Dr. Dan's thesis, figure 1. Wow!
I'll bet there's some math in there. Now, okay, here's one thing I want to point out, though.
Yeah,
There are legitimate PhDs that you can get where your thesis is very unlikely to have any math. Like if you get like a history,
Really true.
like if you get a
Or
PhD in
philosophy.
history or philosophy, there's a fair chance. Actually, sometimes philosophy has some like Boolean logic,
Logical
which
form,
is
yeah.
math. But yeah, like it's you don't find much history, math and history degrees because it's
Yeah.
mostly like, hey, you know, this is because I've written plenty of history papers, having a degree in history myself, and usually it's like you're just citing really old sources, and there you go. Which, by the way, if anyone out there who might be listening wants to get A's on history papers, this is my advice for you. Learn a language none of your professors know, and then make the primary source document that you use for some of your papers in that language. Because I'm telling you, having primary sources in languages like Ancient Egyptian, Arabic, and Old English gave me easy A's quite a few times.
They're just like, you know what?
Was
Fuck
it-
A.
Was it like a situation where it's like, oh, where's the source? Yeah, I'm not learning that language. And
There was actually one time my source was an Anglo-Saxon. It was in I think it was it 10th century Anglo-Saxon.
Jesus Christ.
And so my professor was like, "Hey, can you bring that source in?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I bring in the book where I had the section of text, and he's like, "Okay, can you read that for me?" Yeah, okay. So I start reading it, and he's like, "Okay, what does this part mean?" I'm like translating it, and he's like, "All right, hey, there you go." And then for one, I translated a fair bit of Egyptian hieroglyphics from a temple wall. And so then my professor started asking me questions about it. I was like, hold on, let me just read the wall. And so I'm sitting there because I think the big question was like, where is this temple? And I was like, you know, it's in this place. And he's like, well, where's that? I'm like, let me double check. So I start reading the wall. I'm like, oh, there it is. That's the location. And he's just like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, that's what it says. What do you want? It says it's in Abydos or Abydos, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So yeah, that's my advice for anyone looking for a history degree. Learn a language, an ancient language your professors don't know, and write papers about sources in that language.
Yep.
Which I guess maybe that's a lot of work just for an easy A, but
Yeah.
it worked for
that
me.
seems like more work than the A would have been.
Maybe, but then again, I was like, okay, so in in college, the language I took for my language requirement was Arabic. I took Arabic. This is weird. So I took Arabic 1, 3, and 4 because I got to Arabic 1 and it was like, hey guys, here's the alphabet. And I went to my professor. I was like, I cannot do this for a semester. Give me, and he was like, all right, I'll tell you what. If you can read this paragraph without making too many mistakes in the pronunciation, I'll just give you the Arabic 2 paperwork and I'll sign off on you taking Arabic 3 next semester. And I was like, all right, deal. So then I did, because like I already knew how to read, at least pronounce Arabic before I got there, right? Like it's not that hard to do. So then I read the paragraph and he was like, all right, yeah, fine. Here's the Arabic 2 coursework. Do that, and then next semester just apply to Arabic 3, and when they ask me, I'll say, yeah, he has my permission. And so, but that also did cause like not a problem, but a thing I had to address, because my graduation requirements actually said I needed 4 semesters of a foreign language. I was like, guys, I don't want to take like 1 semester of Spanish just for no reason. Like, can we just waive this requirement? And they're like, yeah, you finished Arabic 4, it's fine. So that's why I could do some Arabic. Ancient Egyptian, I just bought an Ancient Egyptian textbook like 20 years ago. And I worked on it. Old English, I actually took Old English in college for one of my English credits. And it also helped me get my minor in Renaissance and Medieval Studies. Because the Old English counted as one of the courses for that. And so did, what was it? I took like history of law enforcement in like the English-speaking world or something. And then the last requirement for that thing that like I needed to specifically take, I took like history of the English language, which is basically English from Old English up to like early modern. And so like it worked out for me.
It's funny, a little bit aside, you said you had to address it, but it was okay. I actually had a friend of mine who had to take Calc 1 in his last semester as an engineer.
That blows.
Because they didn't transfer the credit or something. And he was like, guys, I took differential equations and like modern physics. So they're like, no, go to Calc 1 like a good boy.
There wasn't a way for him to test out of it?
No, they're like, by God, you were going to sit in that class.
So dumb.
I would have been like, I'm way too stubborn. I'm like, I'm not taking the class.
Like,
Sorry,
right.
I'll transfer my shit
well,
that I have here someplace else and graduate.
What he ended up like in practice doing is he went to the thing, talked to the professor, and did like his engineering homework in the back of the class, and just took the tests. It wasn't a huge burden, but it was still kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I had a couple classes like that. I took a Christian history class, and I aced all the tests and the papers. And my professor was like, "Just don't show up for the final. Just don't." Okay. And the same thing happened with my my macroeconomics class. I got 100% on all the tests, and so the professor was like, "You don't have to come to the final. Just."
How many classes have you taken, Dapper?
I mean, I don't know. I took a 4-year degree, so I took.
Well, I mean, you're talking about like history and languages and economics. I'm just like,
I mean, let's see. So I took
10 PhDs.
I have 1 bachelor's degree. Are you kidding me? Let's see. So I took microeconomics. I took a few basic math classes. I took astronomy. I took biology, like intro to biology. I took, let's see. I took sub-Saharan African history. I took, as I already mentioned, Arabic, basically 2, 3, and 4. I took Old English. I took history of the English language. I took a class about the Irish history from the English occupation onward. I took various courses in American history. I took a course in Roman history where I actually wrote an interesting paper about the effects of inflation and Cantillon effects on the late Roman imperial economy. Let's see. I can't remember all the classes I took, but that's a smattering of them. Yeah, I took a lot of classes. I mean, I usually had 4 to 5 classes every semester that I was taking. So,
if you don't mind me asking, what is your degree in?
History.
Just history?
History with a minor in Renaissance and Medieval Studies.
Oh, nice.
We need to have a discussion about some Renaissance and medieval stuff someday.
So here's the thing, though. I want to tell you, here are the classes that helped me get that, right? History of law enforcement in the English-speaking world, Old English, history of the English language, those are the three main ones that actually got me to There was like one other, but I don't remember what it was. So like, it says that there's a minor in medieval and Renaissance studies, but it's mostly just the history of the English language. So if you want to talk about that, you want to talk about like great vowel shifts, adopting, like pronouns and verb forms from Old Norse. You want to talk about like influence of Norman French? Sure. But if you want to talk about so what do you think about like, the actual like Renaissance in terms of like uncovering classical thinking in Italy in the 1400s? I mean, like, I don't know. This sounds great to me. Like, that's all I got there. So like, it's a minor that I accidentally qualified for. And then I was like, yeah, sure, I'll sign my name on that.
I have a minor in physics.
Nice.
And to get that minor, I took one physics class.
Actually, my my microeconomics professor really tried to get me to both tutor microeconomics and have an economics minor, and I was just like, I just don't care that much. And she's like, yeah, but you're getting A's on all the tests. I'm like, okay. And she's like, but you would know the answer to all these questions. I'm like, right, but that just means that I'm getting an A in this course. I don't want to sit here in my free time and tell people how to do like PQ charts.
I could have had a minor in math if I took linear algebra, which I'd already taken at Virginia Tech. I just didn't feel like taking it again.
I don't blame you.
I figured I'm an engineer. If I feel like that's enough to say I know how to do math. I don't need a minor in math,
Yeah.
Well, you got your minor in physics, so that also helps with the I can do math. I can math.
I just enjoyed the subject. That was all. But I always tell people I have a minor in physics. That is not as impressive as it sounds.
Yeah, I really want to get my bachelor's from the University of Colorado. I really want to do a major in the molecular cellular developmental biology with a minor in astrophysics and planetary science. The admissions people said I have a really good chance of being accepted, so all what I'm waiting for is for my fall grades. And
good luck.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, where did you go to university?
Me?
Yeah.
University of Massachusetts.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, piece of UMass.
Yep. Yeah, they have they're most actually well known for their engineering, as far as I know. They have a pretty good engineering department, but they also have a decent. They're all around. They're a pretty good school. They've got like a decent art department. They've got a good history department. They've got a good, like I said, engineering departments. They've got some good pure sciences, and the campuses are usually quite nice. The campus I went to was under active expansion while I was there, and even when I first got there, it was pretty nice. But by the time I left, it was excellent, and a lot of it's open to the public for a lot of the various things that they have there. So when people are in my hometown, if you will, they a lot of the places they end up being either on campus or just adjacent. So
I would never get accepted to the school that I want to go to. Not once. Well, okay, maybe if I took if I went to our local community college, which is actually a pretty I don't want to use the word renowned, but I'm going to use it just for lack of a better word. A pretty well-known community college, and like did like a year in physics, or maybe got like an associate's in physics or something, and had retaken my ACTs, I would probably do a lot better on them. Then I might get it.
I used I used a couple semesters of community college to help me get into school, because the thing is, getting into community college is pretty easy, right?
Right.
But doing well in community college is not as easy as getting in.
Yeah.
So
they'll take anybody.
Yeah.
Basically.
So when I went there because the community college I went to, it's not like it has a decent reputation as far as community colleges go. Mm-hmm. So when I applied to transfer to the University of Massachusetts, and they, had my transcript from community college, and it was just straight A's across the board, they were like, okay, yeah, sure.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
Well, at that point, you're a known quantity.
Right.
Like, you've done college level work. And like I got an associate's at a community college before I went to my undergrad. And because I did them both in the same town, literally the same professors were teaching them both.
Nice.
Like, I had my mechanical engineering professor from VCU taught me dynamics the year before at community college. So it was actually, in my experience, I had better education at the community college because the professors who were there to teach because they wanted to teach, as opposed to a VCU, they were there to do research, and teaching was a burden they really didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm all about community.
Yeah,
college.
don't knock community college. It's a great way. First, it's a great place to learn. I learned a lot in my time at the community college there in the same town. And the other thing is, yeah, it's a really good way to get your foot in the door if you think you might have trouble getting into the school that you really want to end up at. Spend a couple semesters, or even get an associate's degree, and like
I'm
it's
And
I'm
it's so
looking at
much
the
cheaper.
requirements right now for the local community college for an ASD, Associate of Science degree in
I
engineering.
don't even think I needed a current like SAT or ACT score to get into community college.
It really is not that bad.
Yeah,
And it's so much cheaper. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and you know what?
So
I am
much
so
cheaper.
glad. I am so glad I actually started out at community college because I saved a lot of money. I explored different majors, and I took a lot of music classes and was able to learn more about my instruments. And right now, I have a okay 3.33 GPA, which could easily get me accepted into the University of Colorado, which has like a 2.5 minimum requirement. So they said I have a decent chance of getting accepted. I'm also applying to Rutgers. I think I'm also wanting to apply to Rutgers just because of Dr. Dan.
Hey, I mean, I don't blame you. Oh, okay, here's one thing. The thing that ruined my 4.0 GPA, because I had one for a while, and it dropped down to like 3.9, whatever, was this one damn sociology class that I only took because I needed an elective, and my friend was taking it. Then it turns out the professor was just absolutely terrible, and then I couldn't drop out of it because that would affect my GA benefits because I would no longer be full-time. And it was too late in the semester to do anything else. But my friend dropped out of it, leaving me alone in that class that I had no interest in. And
that sucks.
yeah, I was like, damn it. Because it was like the one thing keeping me from a perfect 4.0 that semester. Or even overall, I think my overall GPA, I think I got one other B plus some other semester, but that was fair because like I didn't really work as hard as I should have in that class. And so I think it was like a 4.96 or something. I don't know. That was 3.96.
I ended up with a 3.95. I got 1B. And it was in thermal
Really?
systems design, and I was effing robbed. I'm not too bitter about it, only because I got an A in circuits and had no business getting an A in that class, so it kind of cosmically worked out. But like the professor gave us a D on our final project, which was designing a heat transfer to using a certain size motor to melt water in a certain period of time or whatever, melt ice. And ours was like professionally done. We had to do with a machine shop, and it looked gorgeous.
Nice.
The report was awesome. Like we put out a good product. And he gave us a D on our report. And I went to the office. I was like, what gives, man? You know, like, and he kind of went into the requirements, and like he said that there was this one calculation that we didn't have. And I was like, show me in the requirements for that calculation is, and he couldn't show me. And I was like, dude, if you're going to make one calculation worth 40% of the grade, you probably should, I don't know, like tell us or underline.
Yeah, that should be in the syllabus or something.
Right. Yeah. So that was nonsense, but whatever.
Yeah, I just
I'm
checked.
not bitter.
I just checked for an Associate of Science degree. I think the worst classes would be Calc 1, 2, and 3, which probably really wouldn't be that bad.
You
I
might
think
be able to test out.
I probably wouldn't try to test out of them. I know calculus, but not enough to test out of a college class, probably.
Well, also,
Um,
you don't. If you're self-taught, you could tend to have holes, and you want to
Exactly.
fill those holes.
Exactly.
I actually kind of taught myself trig because I didn't pay attention in high school, like I definitely should have.
Same.
And so, like, I got all the way to differential equations, and he was like, "Okay, so we've got these two polynomials, and you're going to divide one with the other with synthetic division." I was like, "You could do that?" I was like,
The two classes in it that I think I would dislike the most would be Gen Chem 1 and 2 because I just don't really care about chemistry.
All right, guys, I got to get going. It's coming up. It's past 11 now. But I had a lot of fun, and like I said, go vote for Raw Matt for Dumb F of the Year. I try to keep it PG-13 around. Yeah.
where can we vote for that?
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I don't think I can post this in the main chat, but give me a second. I am going to copy the link. I'm gonna put it in the private chat, If anyone wants to, they can put it in. Anyone who can
Yeah.
can put it in the comments or whatever. So just put it in the private chat. If you click on that video, there's no content to it, right? It's just a black screen with some white words, say Ramat or whatever. But if you hit like or dislike, it counts as a vote. And cheating is encouraged. So, if you have a whole bunch of YouTube accounts or whatever, or you want to set up a bot to create YouTube accounts and click like or
I
dislike.
just upvoted on it. So
I actually
Nice.
do have RPA software on my work computer, so on it.
Nice. And
I
so-
know what I'm doing for work tomorrow.
Look, I don't think Ramat is going to come in first. I don't think he's going to be declared the official DFOTY for 2020. However, I would like for him not to be in last.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is Nathan Thompson on this list? I don't remember seeing
He
his
is. Let me double check the list. So, give me a second. I can find it. You can find the whole list on Red's channel because he's the one who hosts it. Which, by the way, I've been toying around for a few months now with the idea that it might be fun to hold like a tongue-in-cheek creationist award show. But all right. So the full list is Ramat, Unirock, Katie Joy Paulson, JM Truth, Nathan Thompson, Nate Brody, Menace to Sobriety, Kyle Curtis, Richard P. Leibowitz, and Bev Try Thinking. I don't really know who the last one was, but basically that last one was put in there as a substitution by Reds Redder because he wanted to nominate Aaron Ra, but it was decided he wasn't quite dumb enough or hadn't been quite dumb enough this year.
I don't feel that Aaron Ra is really dumb. I mean, he pushes his rocks or atheist argument pretty hard. That's about like the dumbest thing I've ever heard him say. But I haven't had conversations.
He's got some really bad history too.
I've heard his philosophy could improve, but I've also heard him acknowledge openly that he's not like really good with philosophy and kind of
he's honest,
either.
He's honestly not very good at philosophy, and it shows. But also, he does not acknowledge how bad he is at history, and he is really, really bad at history. So basically, I talk about it every once in a while. But there's this collection of like atheist mythology about history, and almost all of it's just not true.
Like Jesus never existed.
Yeah, that's one of them. Or the Council of Nicaea decided which books were going to be in the Bible.
Mhm.
That's another one that just no, they didn't. That didn't come up at all.
I'm pretty sure the early church fathers had pretty much established most of the canon in the Council of Nicaea, which was like one of God knows how many councils. It was kind of like, well, sure, let's run with this.
The council
wasn't the question they were asking.
The council did not at any point even bring up the topic of what the canon should be.
They made the Nicene Creed.
Yeah,
they made the Nicene
right
Creed.
now.
They made a decision about Christology, who Jesus is essentially, and then they made the creed. Well, they made the first version of the creed. It was later updated by a second council, but and then they made a few little rules about like how to discipline priests who misbehave and like when to celebrate Easter.
Did they?
Like it was.
They didn't establish the Catechism of the Catholic Church, did they?
No, the Catechism. The first version of the Catechism wasn't written for centuries.
Okay.
And I don't even think it was done by a council, even a council for just the Catholic Church. But I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me there. But yeah, so he thinks that. He also gets the whole Galileo trial badly wrong. He essentially gets all of Galileo's relationship to the Catholic Church extremely wrong.
Yeah, I have heard that what the Catholic Church did really, I mean, it's not that they persecuted some, but not in the way that people think where like they were killing people and burning people at the stake. It was kind of just like trying to just ruin their social reputation or stuff like that.
Well, there's a few things. One is, so there's the Spanish Inquisition thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like 5 different popes tried to shut it down, but the people who kept it going weren't the popes. It was the Spanish monarchy.
Yeah,
because they were using it to persecute political opponents, not religious opponents. So basically, the Pope would be like, "Dude, you can't keep doing this." And the King of Spain would be like, "You know what?
Watch, bet.
F off, Pope. I'm just gonna keep doing it. What are you gonna do? You gonna send an army?
You're not my
No."
supervisor.
Basically, yeah. So there is that. Now there were some burnings at the stake, and I don't think anyone's going to defend that. But with the Galileo thing, the interesting thing is that Galileo wasn't put under house arrest and excommunicated for saying that the Earth was the center of that the sun was the center of the solar system. He was put under house arrest after being told, "Hey, until you can actually get your math to work, you cannot publish books claiming that this is a fact."
Yeah.
And Galileo's like, I'm going to do it anyway. And they're like, your math still doesn't check out. His math was worse than the Aristotelian math. It didn't work as well. Galileo's math failed. If he had published today with the same kind of results, he would have been rejected by peer review because his math was not up to snuff, because he assumed circular orbits, and circular orbits is wrong.
When is it that Johannes Kepler? That was in the 1600s, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, his
Kepler
theory-
figured out that the orbits were elliptical, and then his math was better than the Aristotelian math that was using cycles and epicycles and whatnot to calculate the positions of the planets.
Mhm.
He could do better than the established math, and that's why he won. And it's also why no one put him under house arrest or excommunicated him.
Though to be fair, you can get kind of close with circular orbits.
You
Just
can,
not like super close.
approximating.
but that's the thing. He got close, but he didn't. He was still getting worse predictions than Aristotle was. And so, but the thing is, up until he published that final work that got him excommunicated and put under house arrest, he was sponsored by various bishops. Like, that's how he made his money. Bishops were just handing him money to do astronomy research, and he was giving audiences with various popes over the years who were politely and in some cases enthusiastically entertaining his ideas. The Catholic Church was not out there being like, nope, has to be geocentrism.
Yeah,
They just weren't.
So basically, it's kind of like a form of peer review. Look, you have to make predictions better than the current model, and if you can't do that, then you can't go around claiming it to be a fact. And I guess basically Galileo was
essentially right by a fluke. Is essentially what it comes down to.
Yeah.
He could not make better predictions than the prevailing model, and so his model was rejected, as it should have been. Now, do I think that you should be put under house arrest for doing bad science? No, that's not okay. However, should we pretend that he was put under house arrest for violating some doctrine of the Catholic Church, which he didn't? No, also not true. And so Aaron Rod just buys the normal version of that event. And like, I'm not sitting here like trying to defend the Catholic Church. I'm not a big fan of the Catholic Church. Never have been.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of organizations that rape little boys and cover it up either. I'm really not.
Yeah, same here. I feel you 100%. But
Well,
we
we
by the way,
shouldn't lie about them either.
Exactly. Yeah, true.
by the way, Dapper, I think it would be fun for you and I to do a little bit of a stream together. Kind of like, did you happen to? You said that you watched the stream that I did with Erica, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
I enjoyed it. I will be honest, I was going through it a little bit quickly because she had asked for my opinion on the part where she talked about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So that was my main focus because she had asked me that. And then she sent me the link to the wrong stream, by the way. So I watched an 1.5 hour long stream that was the wrong one. And I was like, Erica, you didn't talk about dinosaurs once. What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, it's the wrong. I'm like, all right, fine. So like I was listening to most of it on times 2, but I enjoyed it. And also I want to say, Erica, in case you watch, I did tell you this, but as far as I know, you didn't get too much wrong. The one thing that was said that is no longer current was she mentioned that Sinosauropteryx had been initially described as having a hepatic piston for its respiratory system. Subsequent papers have very much overturned that finding, and so you still see it every once in a while in sort of like popular level stuff, or if you look at the original description. But yeah, that's been overturned, and it's most likely that Sinosauropteryx, along with probably all dinosaurs, as well as pterosaurs, had a much more avian-style respiratory system.
I got a question for you, Dap. You mind if I call you Dap? That's not the question, by the way.
I do not.
Okay. Are you pretty much self-taught in a lot of what you know about biology, or do you have a level of formal education on it?
I mean, I took biology for non-science majors when I was in college.
Okay. But other than that, like everything that you know about biology, paleontology, and all that stuff, kind of, autodidact a little bit.
Yeah, that's me just putting in the work, reading the papers, and looking up words I don't know. Every time I come across
you're
one.
like me, except if for my case it would be like astrophysics and cosmology and stuff like that.
Oh, hey, I can talk about some of that stuff too. You know, I like gravity waves and dark energy and cosmic inflation and all sorts of that good stuff.
Yeah, at least you like that stuff and acknowledge that it's real, and like all creationists.
Well, yeah, I don't even know what. Okay, so I keep saying I need to go, but here's one thing. okay, so Jason Lyle, right? He's the infinite.
Oh
speed of
God!
light
I
towards
did a whole
Earth
stream. If you
double
ever get a
thing.
chance on my channel, I did an almost 2-hour stream when he went on SFT's channel talking about the anisotropic synchrony convention and everything. So if you ever feel like checking it out, you can actually find me on YouTube just searching my name. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be the first video, but it'll be the longest video that I have. It's insane, and I titled it perfectly in all caps. I put insane and then creationist lies for Jesus. So
Yeah.
Here's one of my favorite things, though.
and it's beautiful.
So one of my
Okay.
favorite things was he was once asked, like, okay, we cannot directly test the one-way speed of light as far as we can tell, and that is accurate.
Mhm.
So the isotropic convention is just held because it makes the math easier, right? Like,
Exactly. Literally. Yeah.
right. And also, any other convention that you would have would kind of seem like special pleading because, like, why is it going faster this way than that way?
Wait, hold on. I'm not familiar with this. Are they saying that light goes at a different speed depending what direction it's going in?
So,
So hold on. So let me-
anisotropic synchrony convention essentially states that when light comes from the sun to the earth, it's instantaneous. But when it reflects off the earth and goes back to the sun, it's moving at like half
Two
the
feet.
speed of light or
Yeah,
something
sorry,
like
that was
that.
moving
And
at,
so
yeah, 1.5.
it averages at the speed of light. So
What
and
the
they,
hell?
so there's nothing wrong inherently with using the anisotropic synchrony convention. You'll complicate the math, I would argue, rather needlessly, but for the most part, special relativity is still going to work.
Yeah,
The
you actually get the
reason
same
they
results.
use
By the way,
it-
and here's the thing.
The reason they use it is to get rid of the distant starlight problem. Well, because if we use this convention versus the isotropic or the Einstein Poincaré convention, then all the starlight gets here instantly. It doesn't matter how fast it goes back to the stars.
That's
Okay,
it
but
Dumbest shit I've ever heard in my
I have
life.
to give one thing before I go about this, because Jason Lyle was once asked if there were any tests that we could use as a proxy for his test, right?
Mhm.
And he said, yes, if distant galaxies look significantly different from the ones that are nearer in a consistent way, then that would mean that it's probably not true that light approaches us instantaneously, because all galaxies, we should be seeing them at their current age rather than at different ages, as you know the Big Bang would have predicted. Well, guess what? Distant galaxies look young, and how young they look depends on how far away they are.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, and
Jason Lyle's own proxy, he's already failed.
of course, you know what they'll do then is they'll just try and say, okay, we'll define what it means to look young. They'll just move the goalposts further and
I
further.
mean, we already have answers for that. Things like higher prevalence of active nuclei, lower amounts of flattening on the galactic disk, less prevalence of structures like spiral arms, fewer globular galaxies in the traditional sense of nearby globular galaxies, like ones that result from like mergers of galaxies. Generally smaller average galaxy size, because galaxies tend to merge over time rather than split, because they don't really split. How would they? Things like that. Like we actually have firm predictions from the Big Bang model that can tell us what younger galaxies look like. And it's hard to come up with any way that they could be otherwise, as if the Big Bang were true. And so you take that together with the confirmed CMB prediction, all of these predictions about, models about galaxy formation actually being verified in terms of distant galaxies, and the fact that progressively they look more and more mature the closer you get to us. So the only other thing you could do to save the anisotropic speed of light convention would be to say that God just created galaxies sequentially through time, farther and farther away, looking like young galaxies for some reason. And the only reason you could think that he would do it is basically to fool you into thinking the universe is ancient, which at
Well,
that
he
point,
succeeded because I'm fooled.
right?
Yeah. and by the way, before we go, because it's almost 1:30 my time, so a couple real quick things. Stapper, I would like to do do a little chat with you like I did with Erica, but I think it'll be a really fun project to do like a stream of myths, things atheists should stop saying about history, like the really bad arguments. Like there's a lot of bad arguments atheists use, and I just wanted to like
a lot.
Oddly enough, it strongly centers around church history. Like, no, to be fair, most Christians get church history badly wrong too, but they usually don't make it a big sticking point in most of their positions. Like, it's very rare that you hear some Christian be like, I believe the Bible because of the Council of Nicaea. Like,
Yeah,
no, I've never heard a Christian say that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dapper, thank you so much. I'm really, really glad that you jumped on. It was a lot of fun.
I'm glad I noticed you were alive.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Because I was
definitely
getting ready to shut down for the night, and I was like glanced at YouTube, and I was like, oh hey, David PNF is live.
yeah, and I'm really glad you came on because that was a lot of fun. So Dapper, email me because I definitely want to get a time for us to chat.
Before we
Okay.
end, I did want to say that tomorrow I am putting out another video in my Much Ado series, which is where I talk about things that like a lot of generally theists turn into a big deal that aren't really a big deal, hence the Much Ado name. And I will be doing Much Ado about causality because they seem to think that causality is this like universal unbreakable law, which is not the case.
I want to point out I have Much Ado About Nothing in Klingon translation in my hands right now.
Nice. You know what would be fun to host a debate in Kingston? Like the whole debate is just in Kingston.
Klingon.
In Klingon?
Klingon.
I can't debate in Klingon. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, neither can
I
I.
can probably debate in English.
Wait, can you say anything in Klingon?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But yeah, I really want to learn Old English and learn how like to read Beowulf and stuff like that in the original.
I think that's on my desk somewhere too.
But anyway, yeah.
Old English.
I'll go around the table real quick. Any last words before we go, Jordan? Any last words?
No, thanks for having me on. If anyone is looking at my thing, goes to YouTube. I actually run a podcast. We're gonna mirror to YouTube eventually. But yeah, if you go to the YouTube and find it empty, that's why, because we're a podcast.
Yeah. Dapper, of course, you said you had the speculative evolution thing coming out tomorrow. Anything else?
That's coming out tomorrow. My little quick 5-minute or so video promoting some of the stupider things that Raw Matt has said will be on Saturday. Tuesday will be Kent with Bent Hovind, no relation, in a tutu, a pink tutu that arrived today, I think.
You trying to piss off Candace Owens or what?
No, so what happened was I had a fundraising goal, a single stream fundraising goal, that if we hit it, Bent Hovind was going to buy a tutu and wear it. And we hit it.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah. So and then I think I have a video that I already have made and uploaded, and that will be out next Thursday. And then my final words are, of course, from Beowulf, which I haven't holding in my hands in Old English because, of course, my library. And I will just close with What we gardena en jardagon theod kuniga thrimje frunon huda athelingos ellen fremedon, which is, of course, the first sentence.
Truly words to live by.
Yes.
Yep. And
I don't know what you just said.
yeah, man, English has fallen far from what it used to be. But hey, that's the way all languages go. Anyway, I'm David Nuss.
I did also want to say really, really quickly, at some point, probably early next week, I am doing a live stream on, God, what's his name? Hunter Braxton's 10 questions for an atheist. I'm going to do a live stream and try my best to answer them. I haven't seen the video yet. I don't want to watch it before I stream. I want to be able to answer the questions in real time. So at some point, I'm going to be doing that.
Oh, nice. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that bell notification down below. I host open mics and interviews quite regularly, and there will probably be a open mic on Friday. Don't know what time yet, but check that out. Friday night is usually the night that I do an open mic. Tonight I just had one because I was doing a conversation with Sal and just decided to do a little bit of an after show. Anyway, don't forget to check out the Dapper Dino and subscribe to his channel. And don't forget to hit Leo Felis and go to his channel and subscribe. Also, Erica, aka the Gutsick Gibbon, is like 15 subscribers away from being at 5,000. So if for some reason you are subscribed to my channel, but you aren't subscribed to the Gutsick Gibbon, go to her channel and subscribe now. Anyway, that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a wonderful day.